Rob Cairns here. I'm the CEO and Chief Creator of Amazing Ideas at StunningDigitalMarketing.com. I want to thank each and every one of you for being part of this podcast journey. It's been an amazing one. 50 episodes. Wow. I didn't really know if I'd still be going at this point. Before we go any further, I want to dedicate the special episode number 50 to my late Aunt Linda Cairns. My Aunt Linda just lost her battle to dementia on November the 1st. My thoughts go out to her, my Uncle Ron, his kids Jamie and Jeffrey, their families, and the entire Cairns and Holt clans. Rest in peace, Aunt Linda, and as my aunt would say, give yourself a hug. Thanks for listening, and now on to this week's episode. To celebrate episode 50, I want to take you down my business journey and my podcast journey. I want to share some insights, lesson learned, and the experiences I've had. In episode 51, I'll actually break down the 50 episodes and some highlights with those episodes. I hope you really enjoyed this very special episode I put together for you. My technology and business journey started many years ago. When I was young, my dad purchased a Radio Shack color computer. It hooked up to the TV and had 4K memory. Imagine that. Think about that. My dad was not using it. I started to teach myself basic programming. That really started it all. My dad was the company treasurer for an insurance company called Morrison McKenzie Insurance Brokers. His company purchased an Apple II Plus for him and a software package that was revolutionary in the industry at the time called VisiCalc. It was a spreadsheet. VisiCalc was the first spreadsheet program and a big reason the computer revolution happened. After came Lotus 1-2-3 and Excel. How things have changed. I still have that original VisiCalc box in my office today. I also learned at McDonald High School outside of Montreal on the TSR 80 Model 3. This was a step up in the world of technology at the time. Then my family moved from Pécourt in the Montreal area to Markham, Ontario, just outside of Toronto. And then I had to take computer science on IBM 1130, back to bubble cards and punch cards. That was a step back, and I really wondered what I was doing. This was about to get interesting. Did I want to do this? When MDHS got with the program, they got IBM computers and a network system that was called JANET. It stood for Just Another Network, which was developed by Waterloo University in Ontario. They also had their own versions of COBOL and Fortran called Watt COBOL and Watt Fortran. So my journey continued. Then I graduated high school and then off to Centennial College in Toronto. I took business administration course majoring in programmer analyst. In this course, it was technology top heavy. I became very good at global programming and many other things in technology. I actually graduated on the dean's list and second in my class. This was where I realized I had a thirst for learning, and learning never ends. While at college, I had several jobs in related fields. The first was working for my dad at Morrison McKenzie Insurance Brokers. I spent a couple of summers doing special accounting reports in Lotus 1-2-3. Back then, Lotus was the dominant spreadsheet program. The second job I had was working at the RCMP at their downtown division. I worked for Sergeant Michaud doing specialized reports in DBase 3+. This was the dominant database program at the time. Anybody remember Ashton Tate, the company? They were the vendor for DBase. Despite Lotus 1-2-3 and DBase not being around anymore, they were pioneers in their field, pushed other vendors to do amazing things. After I graduated school, I took my first programming job at Allstate Life Insurance in Canada. I worked on the implementation of a new life insurance system called Coalesce. From Allstate, I went to the independent order of Forsters, where after 2.5 years, I was laid off. While at the IOF, I worked on a system called Vantage, which is their life insurance system. Frankly, I needed a change this early in my career. I was not enjoying COBOL programming at all. I always wanted to work on personal computers. Ended up going back to school at CDI College in networking and PC work. That led to a job at Women's College Hospital in Toronto supporting the network computers. I finally was doing something I really liked. I ended up surviving a hospital and merger, Y2K, and in the end I spent 21 years in healthcare in Toronto. Not bad for what was supposed to be a temporary job. That ended 9.5 years ago. Then I started my own web development agency, which moved into a full-scale marketing agency. I very quickly realized websites were only one tool in the marketing toolbox. Today, my agency, StunningDigitalMarketing.com, supports everything from small businesses to Fortune 500 companies. What a ride. I should also go off script and talk about the education side and the learn it all side. I actually have 2 college diplomas and 14 professional designations after my name, many in the marketing field. I'm always trying to learn, and frankly, I always want to learn more, and I think that's one reason why I love the challenge of what I do. Now let's move on to my podcast journey. I've been a fan of podcasts for as long as I remember. Before podcasts, I was a big fan of AM talk radio, so the translation really made sense. I got to the point where I was burned out from blogging. I needed to start something new, so I jumped into the world of podcasting just over a year ago. I started with 2 podcasts at the time, the SDM Interview Show and with our CEO. I realized having 2 different podcasts was a lot of work, so I combined them. And I rebranded the podcast to the SDM Business Marketing and WordPress Show. I've recently shortened the brand and rebranded it to the SDM Show. I actually love podcasting. I'm going to keep going, and I'm looking at improving all the time. So this is my journey, how I progressed to build an agency and then into the world of marketing. I bring an interesting mix of being very technical and having a strong marketing background. This is very unusual, and it gives me an edge in dealing with clients. I continue to learn all the time. I'm not a know-it-all, but a learn-it-all. My thirst for learning is greater today than it ever has been. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about me, my business journey, and my podcast journey. Before I go, give yourself a hug, and I love you all. Please join me in episode 51, where I talk and break down the episodes that I've talked about over the last year and highlight some of those episodes. Have a great day. Thank you for listening to the SDM Show. This show is hosted by Robert Cairns, the CEO and Chief Creator of Amazing Ideas at StunningDigitalMarketing.com. This podcast comes out every week. It's available on all podcast platforms. If you'd like to be a guest on this podcast, please email us at podcast@StunningDigitalMarketing.com. If you'd like some free marketing information to your inbox, please go to StunningDigitalMarketing.com/free. If you'd like to find out more about the digital marketing services we provide, please go to our website at StunningDigitalMarketing.com. We specialize in helping your business succeed. This podcast is dedicated to Robert's late father, Bruce Cairns. Have an amazing week. Keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars. Make your business succeed.